Hello, and welcome once again to another episode of Third Action. I'm your lovely host, Jason, and these are the same three cursed amulets that were here last week. Joining us in the bottom left is Asher Ford Human Ranger, played by Char.
Hi, we didn't get strangled.
In the bottom middle, we have Greshy Ironroot, Dwarven Druid, played by Will.
Not for lack of trying.
And in the bottom right, we have Gunn, Human Champion of Erastil, played by Adam.
I don't know what you're talking about. It looks like a perfectly ordinary necklace to me.
And today we have a game, hopefully. So, let's see. Jumping right in. Last time on Third Action. Actually, is the music really soft? Have I done something? Let me bump that up a little bit. Okay.
I mean, you can hear it.
Seems pretty reasonable to me.
Alright, that seems fine. Anyway, last time on Third Action, our group of intrepid adventurers made their preparations for their trip to seek out the lost city of Golden Greed, aka Zin Shalast. They've been following up on the rumors of a group of dwarves that have made their way, or that at some point seem to have discovered the Golden City and returned to Riddleport in search of supplies and protection for their second foray. This was about a year ago, and they seem to be very secretive about their route and their cause. Or not cause, but their route and their plans. But our group did manage to find a map to their proposed campsite, as well as some additional information on that group of dwarves. You spent the rest of the evening, Greshy spent the evening drinking. He took the details of the list of names of the group of dwarves very hard, it seems, and retreated to a pub where he found a longtime friend, Fen, who he'd been searching for. She apparently has joined the Pathfinder Society, or is trying to join the Pathfinder Society, and was looking for... Well, she's LFG in town. The party gave her some tips, promised her future connections, and after some shopping and a narrow incident of almost killing a shopkeeper with the cursed item he tried to sell them, the group the next day on, I believe this is Star Day, so Saturday for you normies out there, the party wakes up first thing in the morning, heads outside to the streets, and casts. Which spell is this? Is this Windwalk, right? Not.
This is Windwalk.
Windwalk. Okay. Cool. Okay. So yes, that is, I guess, where we're going to jump in. The party is in the center of the street. Wind is swirling around you. You all start to feel light. The winds begin to lift you up into the air as a crowd of people assemble to look at this feat of magic being performed before them. This is a very high-level spell, and it certainly attracts attention amidst the people walking the streets. People are clutching their cloaks and rags, trying to keep their coin purses from flying away in the wind, and you lift up and then start to drift, I guess, in the direction that Greshy gestures with the staff, and you all begin flying in a direction. Oh hey, Nat 20 Productions and Tabletop Rolls, thank you for the raid. And thanks for the follows that we got early in the stream, Zelliger and Radagast, and I think we got an Anim 5 a few days ago, or last week, that I forgot to mention. But yeah, so let's go ahead and jump over to, I suppose, the map of Varisia. I don't know why I'm still on this music. We'll go back to the light. Happy music.
Spooky.
Okay. So you guys find yourselves flying from, well, presumably from Riddleport all the way to the northeast into the Kodar Mountains. The actual area that you're looking for, I can kind of shift this over, is this portion of the map over here, this forked river, which matches in appearance the rivers in the map that you were given, which looks something like this. So chat can kind of compare what's going on here. Here's a river, here's a river. I think some courses being plotted.
And follow until the...
I was going to say, did we recall if the mountains were entirely considered impassable to fly over? Is this something where we really should be following the river all the way up?
Oh, the any mountains that you go through, even if you're flying, I would consider them difficult terrain rather than greater difficult terrain. So they would double any time that you pass going through mountains.
Well, good to know. So that'd be more like 400-ish. And we'd be in the mountain range, and then we could do it another 80 or so to get to approximately where it's at. Or we could go the long way around, I suppose. And then just follow the river up.
How many miles can you move off in one day?
Per cast, I can do 160 miles. I'm assuming that we consider that to be approximately one travel area, because I can go 8 hours.
8 hours, right? Yeah. If you try to do more than that, it's going to be too exhausting, and you'll end up
too strenuous.
Yeah.
That's fair. We're trying not. I don't think we're in a super desperate rush, though we are trying to get there quickly. So yeah, 8 hours per cast. So
Sounds like we would need to go around the south end of the Stony Mountains then.
we could do that as well. That's true.
Getting slowed down.
Sure.
So
The Stony
more of
Mountains are the closest mountains to your east. Yeah, you can.
We'll stop at the Storval stairs.
Yeah, you could fly.
You could almost make it back to the. You could almost make it back to
Jorgenfist.
Jorgenfist, yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go do a drop by the old library, the Thoracic Library.
Can
Swing
read
by,
for a
say
few
hello.
weeks.
Just never leave again. So
Eric, for us right now.
something like that. Thereabouts. Regardless, we'll head east then to start with, skirting south along the Stony Mountains, and then once we get to the stairs and the Storval Plateau, we'll hang in north, I guess.
Okay.
Try and go around the Ironroot peaks there.
All right, you guys have a map, so I'll need somebody to do because Greshy is managing the actual movement of the spell, I'll need someone else to do navigation. It can be assisted.
I was going to nominate Asher, but then I remembered what happened last time, so maybe I'll...
Well, what happened last time was
No.
a bad roll.
Well, I trust Asher. He only got a little bit off
tired.
course.
I was nervous that we killed a horse. Well, I didn't really care.
Didn't.
Well,
Seemed like you did.
I cared enough to look for the horse. But I think Greshy would have cared more if the horse was dead.
if we had killed the horse, I would have been a bit upset. The horse dying of natural causes and such is going to happen.
So I guess we're pretty much just heading straight east, though, yeah?
Aye, to start with, we're going to head straight east
First
and... Aye. That'll be right.
So yeah, whoever's navigating, I need a survival check from you.
Want to navigate, or do you want me to navigate?
I'll do it the first day. We'll see how we
Okay.
do.
I can assist in your navigation.
Sure.
Okay.
How bad could it be?
Asher, go ahead
Oh,
and give me a
dear.
survival roll first.
Famous last words there.
And
That's not
That's not
bad.
bad.
35.
35. Okay. That is you're an expert, so it's just a +1. Or actually, sorry, I need to base. Oh, yeah, no, that is an 8, so yes, it's a +1. Oh, no, sorry, that's a critical. Fuck, sorry.
Critical.
Its default is 20, so yes. I know how systems work. Sorry. Yes, math.
I guess
okay.
this is one where we can't both independently be navigating, because then we'll just be arguing about which way to go.
Correct.
That way.
Yeah, if you were going off on your own independently, yes, but okay. So that was a natural. So that was a critical from Asher. You assist Gunn as much as you can, so you give him a +2. Gunn, you got a 31 on your roll, so it's a 33 total. And yeah, that's pretty easy. You're all pretty familiar with the Varisia area by now, and you make your way out of Riddleport early in the morning, coast around the southern edge of the Stony Mountains, pass over the Kerchain Hills, and fly. You've actually flown. I guess, yeah. I think you've rode horses, magic horses, this way the first time. But you spot the Storval stairs, and you have a good sense of direction. I'll give you guys. This is a critical success here. So if you want, you can get another. We'll call it 20 miles of travel.
Sure. We can just go another 20 miles northeast then.
Okay. So you continue flying up towards Lake Scotha along the Storval Plateau. And this time of year, it is... The Storval Plateau is usually pretty arid, dry, outside of... or during the winter, outside of the various mountain ranges. So out here on the plains, it's very cold and chilly, but not much in the way of snow. But you are able to find a nice, easy hill to land on. What do you guys do? You drift down towards this just kind of open hill in the midst of the plains, or plateau. It's mostly dirt, but there's a bit of grass here and there. There's some assorted trees off in the distance. Nothing, not much in the way of forest, but there's like small bushes and whatnot. It's closer to desert, I guess, terrain, but not sandy desert, just a rocky kind of barren space.
So during the day while we're traveling, I was going to, I'd like to cast my sending and contact Shalelu again.
Sure.
It's a non-combat action. It should be.
Right, you are
With Windwalk or anything.
yeah, I think that's fine. You are navigating, but you don't have to be actively navigating the whole time.
Actually,
actually,
you can't
there's a limitation.
cast a spell during the... There are lots of limitations on this particular one. If any of the targets make an attack, cast a spell, come under attack,
Okay.
or otherwise enter encounter mode, the spell ends for all targets just after they roll initiative,
so-
and they drift gently to the ground.
It was the otherwise that caught me off. That made me think it was only things that would be combat actions. So you probably would stop me from. What are you doing?
No words. We can chit chat, but no spell
All
casting.
right. Well, then when we land, we've traveled for 8 hours. It's probably still like mid-afternoon to evening.
So.
Yes, you guys left, we'll say... I guess you were trying to
I don't know
reset
if
your
Valerian has
clock a
time
little
zones, but we might have gained an hour.
bit. Off of a couple miles of travel? I don't think so.
160 miles? I don't know.
160?
I don't know how their time zones work.
Yeah, I don't want to
Unless you're right
calculate
on the
time zones right now. How big is a
zone.
time zone normally? I'll get back
Depends
to you on
where
that
and
one.
what. It's politically decided, so...
Idaho
let's say...
has 2. I think Oregon has 2 too.
That's
Maybe the
true.
very, very eastern half.
How wide is Oregon? What's the distance between
Not that
two
wide.
latitudes?
I think your West Coast states, Oregon, Washington, are about 200 to 300 miles widthwise, and
distance between degrees of
300
latitude,
miles.
roughly
How far does it go into the
70
ocean?
miles. So 70 miles to feet. I guess it depends on where you are.
So
feet.
Sorry, 70 miles to... No.
This is
You're not
that
traveling in
important.
feet. You're
We can
traveling in
move on if we
miles.
want to.
This is incredibly important. This is the kind of stupid
Only
shit.
70 miles?
No, that's
that
not right.
can't
That's
be
not
right.
right. That's not right at all.
Oregon is about 400
That's
miles
not right
wide.
at all.
No.
There's no way.
No.
Oregon's about 400 miles wide, and we're all
And
in
how
one
far
time
does
zone.
it go into the ocean? I'm in a different time zone.
Okay, I'm going to blame Google
But
on...
northern
Okay, I don't wanna
Idaho is in
search.
Pacific time, but I'm in mountain time. Even though we're on the same latitude, I think.
Okay, this is
Or
going to be my
longitude?
homework. Does Galarian have time zones?
Time zones are approximately 15 degrees of longitude wide.
Oh, that's why. I was doing
How
just
many
a
miles is
degree of
that?
longitude, not, so...
So 70 miles is a degree of longitude? Is that what it says?
Yeah, roughly.
Times 15.
Is that at the equator, or is that...
I don't know.
Because
That was
it's gonna
just
go-
a first glance result on Google. I didn't read in detail. Tosca in the chat says approximately 1,035 miles wide.
So we've gone
Sounds
about
better.
a little over a tenth of a time zone.
So yeah,
okay,
I
so
think
we're
this
still...
entire region
it's
is in
still
one time
evening. We
zone.
have not
It's like
gained an
one
hour.
time zone.
I do
Yeah.
think you're correct to say that they would be different widths at different longitudes. though.
Longitudes, yes. As you
Latitudes.
get closer to the
Well,
top or bottom
Poles,
of
it
the
would shrink
planet.
as far as... Mhm.
Okay. In any case, I think we're safe from from time zones for the most part.
having to worry about
Is
it.
Galarian
Yeah.
flat?
No, Galarian's not flat.
Well then... Okay, so it is a globe.
It is a globe. It is a globe.
So it'd be a lot easier if it was flat.
Oh, it's a flat
we
repeating
don't know
map.
what
Like
our-
if you go off the edge, you just wrap around to the other side. It's just
Yeah.
a giant infinite
We
plane.
don't know what our latitude is here, right?
I could probably find it out by looking at the world map that they put in one of the books, but I'm not going to do that right
that's
this
your
second.
real key. 'Cause
In
we
any
might
case,
end up traveling about one time zone if we're
Split directly in
moderate
half.
latitude. Yep.
Could be like really gerrymandered.
sorry.
So when we land for the evening,
Yeah, it's like 5 o'clock right now when you land in the evening. Yes, this is very much true. This is exactly what playing an RPG is like.
I'll go ahead and contacting Shough, and the message is as follows.
All right.
Sky looks weird. Seems like Runelords' influence. We're following footsteps of Dwarven expedition to find his lost city and destroy. Sent you something.
Curious.
A few moments pass as the group is settling to their now grounded state, and you get a message back from Shough that says in her voice, got your little bird this morning. Sorry. Oh, got your little bird this morning. Once I'm done here, I can head back to Sandpoint. Good luck out there. And then the spell
Sounds pretty good.
completes.
I'll let everybody know that she received the items, and she will do as we asked.
I think you said you left a note inside the box, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
But I wasn't sure if she would trust a random key.
Wasn't there a
You
note
never
on the
trust anybody
bird,
with your personal
too?
key.
Sorry, what was that,
Did you tie
Asher?
a little note? I thought we did. I thought we tied a little note to the bird, too.
Yes.
The
yes,
note
that's
was
how
just to turn the key.
Yeah.
The note says like "use me."
Good enough.
Exactly.
So she seems to have figured that part out and saw the letter, it seems. But yeah. So you guys are just up on this hill. You can see out over Lake Scatha. It's quite beautiful, actually. It's just a shimmering, clear lake. The evening sun reflecting off of it. You can see the Nashers off in the distance, these series of white-capped mountains that look a lot like just kind of teeth jutting up out of the ground. There's a small, or I guess a rather large island in the center of the lake that you can't quite make out due to all the glare on the lake surface. But yeah, it's just you out here on the plain. There's not really much in the way of cover from probably miles around. What do you guys do?
No cover, huh?
We have a yurt.
We do. I think it's a bit early to set that up, though.
It disguises
Dig a
itself a
hole
little bit.
for it.
We can set up camp and do camping type stuff. You know, sing songs, tell stories, train, retrain. Seems like that's about our limit.
Sure. I'm
I mean, I
not sure
have
about the singing
downtime
songs.
Stuff to do. Or I will be doing if we don't actually do anything.
We do have. I've got a book to read, I suppose. So,
Yes, I also have a book.
but let me go ahead. I'll start casting crate food so that we have stuff to eat today.
Okay.
You guys have stuff to eat.
Well, you still have to eat yet. Your ring hasn't taken effect.
Well, I'm still wearing the stone. I didn't.
Oh, that's
sell
true. You
it.
still have the stone. Thought you had for some reason.
Well,
Oh,
you see,
fine, la-di-da.
you say
Don't
that,
do
and you see
20
the Eon Stone still circling around
Whee!
Asher's
I
head.
don't look up that. You're too tall. It's hard for me to look past your head.
I'm sorry. I know, but it's there. I swear.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Well, I'll start creating food for everyone else then.
All right. While Greshy is creating food, Gunn, you and Asher help just kind of set up a little camp. And it sounds like, sorry, were you setting up the yurt here, or presumably, yeah?
If there's no other covers to be found around here, then I guess we'll just have to make do with what we have. Can we try and disguise it at all? Sure. Gunn, you two are going to be better at it than I.
I suggested digging a giant hole, so that's not really probably the best plan. But there's like no brush, no big rocks.
Oh, there's
No
there's
trees.
rocks. There's rocks around.
Oh,
Maybe
Are there
not.
any large rocks, or
yeah.
are they
How
all?
big are these rocks?
Yeah, they're more like foot-sized rocks, not like massive ones.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be a lot to gather and to even make a pile enough to maybe protect us from one side. I don't know. I think we're just gonna be set up in the middle of nowhere.
I can like search around to see if there's any footprints of anything dangerous around.
Might be good to check.
Yeah. Any big animals?
I'll have to start preparing better spells for out on the plains. Thought we were gonna find something a bit better than this, so my mistake.
We're basically in the salt flats of Utah.
That doesn't sound pleasant. Wherever Utah is.
Hot. It's a terrible moon planet. I've read about it.
Okay. So it sounds like, Asher, you wanted to go do a little bit of scouting around just in the nearby area to see if there's any tracks or anything. Okay, go ahead and give me a survival check for that.
Let's survive. 29.
29. Okay. I should have had a page of the book open. Where is... Okay. Too far. One more back. There we go. Alright. Let me roll a die. There's my dice. Okay. So yeah, Asher, you just on foot stalk out into the open plain around the hill that you're on. And so just looking for any sign of tracks in the area. You see what look like probably they're cloven feet, large cloven feet, probably buffalo or cattle of some kind, or these are larger, so you're guessing they're probably aurochs. Type of large buffalo-ish creature. You also find some signs of dug up ground. Clearly, like maybe some kind of tunneling creature. But all of these signs seem dated. Like these creatures were here maybe few days ago. It's separate times, but like the bullish creatures were probably here a few days ago, just grazing on little bits of grass that are coming up through the hard stone or clay, and the dug up ground is, your guess is maybe a week old, probably some kind of burrowing creature, but other than that, you just see, while you're out here, you see a couple of small birds that flit away into some of the low brush on the ground. There's kind of almost like tumbleweed-like plants growing here and there, and they seem to be filled with these tiny, like finch-like birds. But you don't disturb them at all. They seem content to just kind of chill out here and peep occasionally. Seems like the coast is pretty clear.
I'll return and I didn't see much of anything, just normal small wildlife and some other animals that were here a bit ago, but nothing alarming.
Well, I mean, I'll just go ahead and get the yurt set up now then.
Okay. Greshy, you pull out the explorer's yurt from your pack and start propping it up. And you've already cast create food, so there's an array of food out on the out on the dirt for people to pick up and consume should they want it. Phelan's already eating. Rock is eating his share. And yeah, you've got a nice little camp set up here at the top of this hill. As per usual for our downtime rules, since you guys did some travel today, you have a half a downtime day, so you can mark a half a day towards whatever you want, and tell me what you want.
Right.
If so, let's start with Asher. What are you doing?
Greshy's
Asher?
going to spend his time.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We'll start with Greshy. What are you doing, Greshy? Curse this flag.
I mean, super exciting. Greshy's going to read the book about transferring runes about a little faster.
All
I'll
right.
make some headway toward that.
Yeah, you pull out the curious book that Asher found for you in the Rune Forge. It's all written in Thessalonian, but you seem to be able to understand it. As you look at the words, they initially don't make sense, but your eyes kind of you feel like a kind of a white heat in the center of your like just between your eyes. It kind of burns for a moment, but the words sort of start to come into focus for you. They don't change. It's just you can understand the runes that for just a brief moment didn't feel like anything other than scribbles. But yeah, you get started reading that. It's just it's discussing. It's just a general book on transmutation with a focus on applying runes through a transmutative method, or through the lens of transmutation magic, and how you could apply these more or less quickly than through other methods. Okay, Asher, what are you up to?
I'm also reading a book. We're in a book club, but we're not reading the same book. I'm reading the Impermanence book, which is going to take me some time anyway, because I don't even think I can learn the thing I'm trying to learn for like 3 levels.
All right.
But I am trying my best.
Yeah, so you have the other book you picked up from the transmutation laboratory. This one's more about polymorphing, and it's kind of a long list or a long series of various studies and experiments that the author has taken out or carried out on various attempts to polymorph both other creatures and himself, and to make those polymorphs last longer, because many polymorphs have some kind of duration to them, and his method is he's trying to like understand what actually changes as a result of these spells, and how can he alter the spell's code, as it were, to stay around for longer and not deteriorate over time. And there's a lot of nuances and insight into other avenues of polymorphing both the self and others. So yeah, it's a hard read, and you're just kind of cracking out the beginning aspects of it. So you're just kind of starting with the opening and going from there. So it might take you a while to find something that's relevant to your own techniques for wild shaping, but it's a start. So Asher's you're all inside all the animals are outside eating. The 3 of you or the 2 of you are sat by the campfire inside the yurt, that the smoke that magically doesn't fill the room and suffocate you all, but goes up into like a little space above the tent and dissolves harmlessly. Greshy's at one side, just sat with his cross-legged, reading his book. Asher's at the other, leaning up the side of the tent, book open in one hand, flipping the book upside down occasionally to try and make sense of the runes. Gunn, what are you up to?
Gunn is mostly meditating. That's my new hobby on things on our mission and things to come and things that he's seen. And I'm gonna, if possible, either as part of that or before, I'm going to be writing a letter to Mother Tiketz about everything that we've encountered. So as part of my recollection process, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, you can kind of you sit kind of separate from the others, looking out the open tent flap to the starry sky outside. It's not cloudy out here like it was in Riddleport. The air is much cleaner, much fresher. and you meditate on and try to remember all the things that you've done and come across on your journey, how Erastil has manifested within and around you, and then at regular intervals take a break to write some of that down in the form of a letter. So you're doing kind of equal parts sitting and just staring off into space, and then occasionally writing something down, and eventually by the end of the evening you've got a fully composed letter.
Great. My plan for that letter is to ask Greshy to use an animal messenger to send it not to Mother Tiket's but to his friend Fen, so that she can carry it to Mother Tiket's, who so that's sort of a two birds with one stone thing. She's looking for her introduction, and I want both of them to know what's happened here. And seeing as Fen seemed to be more of a rogue type, I'm figuring that she will end up reading the letter before she hands it over.
I do. Do I know that there'd be any sort of creatures that would travel as far as Riddleport within a day up here? I know there were probably birds and such, but that's a fair distance we've traveled already.
Oh, does that have a distance limit on it?
It's got, if it's not reasonable for them to get there, or if they'd like suffer, the spell doesn't work.
Let me take a look at Animal Messenger.
I mean, there's still quite a lot of reasonable. A bird can fly that far in a day. It's just a question of whether that's something we'll find up here or not. I hope so.
Yes.
But the spell ends after 24 hours, or when the creature moves the attached object, whichever happens first.
Yeah, we'll say that you think that if you upcast it, because it's a second level spell, right? Let's say that if you upcast it to 4th level, that you think that could help it go just that extra bit further.
Sure. All right. Well, then tomorrow morning I'll prepare it and see if I can pull in something a bit more durable as far as getting it to Fen, and then I can, I guess, send her sending or something to let her know that it's on its way.
By the way, just to let you know, I've included a lot of the details about our adventures here, so that should anything happen to us, the two of them could take this information to the Pathfinder Society.
Oh.
Since Fen is trying to join there, and they would probably be the best bet for anyone else trying to accomplish the same thing we're working at.
If you say so. I don't know much about them besides what Finn was telling me. They're do-gooders, so I suppose if somebody's going to be doing good, might as well be them.
They do a lot of things, mostly similar to what we've been up to.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll include all the details we know so far about where to find the dwarfen camp and the city that we're looking for.
Right.
The villains that we're up against.
Okay, this is like three. Yeah, it's like 3 pages that all folded together.
I was going to say.
A lot of detail.
It's one letter. One part of the letter is just saying hi, and the rest of it is just here's everything that's happened to us and all of the enemies we made along the way. There's this one wet Papa Grazul that you'll need to look out for. We're not sure when he's popping his head back up.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Karzug.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll let Finn know tomorrow morning after we send the creature off to be on the lookout for it, and also hopefully she's still in
You will.
Riddleport. She hasn't.
Oh, you have the same spell?
Oh, well, I picked up this floating pearl. And yes, around Greshy's head is a black pearl that's been floating, much like Asher's, but
The same hat.
hey, we're wearing the same thing. Not.
That will be very handy, actually.
Oh wait, is the Black Pearl sending? I might have put that on the list without looking at it.
It is sending. That's why I picked it up. I was like, oh yeah.
We can
All right.
double our outgoing communications. That'll be helpful.
Triplet, though one only goes to one place.
Oh, we should send to Aurelia. Ask how our house is doing.
Our what?
Our house in Magnamar. She's the
Oh.
house sitter. It's been like a month and a half.
That thing.
We need to
Your
pay
house.
her, in fact. If I prepare Animal Messenger at a higher level, can I get something to go to Magnamar as far as the letter goes?
You don't think that you'd be able to get something all the way to Magnamar like that, but you could get something to the post office in Riddleport.
But then I'd have to trust Riddleport. And that just seems like a mistake.
I mean, there's another
Post
town
office in
nearby. You could instead do Ravenmore or Roderick's Cove.
Raven with all the were-ravens? I'm not sure about that one.
Well, they'd be fast to get to Magnamar.
Hey, you have no
Well, you make a fair
confirmation
point.
that
Their
Ravenmore
messenger
has
service.
Storval
were-ravens.
River is only 100 miles from where we are right now.
I don't know. Asher made that assertion, and I believe Asher most of the time. So
That's
Did
true.
I?
There's also Turtleback
That
Ferry,
was mine.
and the Hook Mountain is roughly where the Black Arrows
that
are.
actually might be. That might be reasonable. Either way, it's mostly that I want to make sure that we pay her, since I think we only paid for a month. We thought we were going to come back. That didn't really happen. So, I mean, if she doesn't mind keeping the place for free for a bit, but I can imagine she'd like some money for food and such.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, if you're going to try and send something like that, I think Roderick's Cove, or you would probably think that Roderick's Cove is the
All right.
like easiest place
It's a
to
better
send
choice.
to, and then have them, because they would then send the letter to Magnamar or forward it to Magnamar. So as long as you include like probably a couple of gold, you don't actually know the price offhand for sending. Oh, actually, yeah, you could roll a society check if you want to see if you know the price of
Sure.
media mail.
Mail.
How much could a stamp cost? 200 gold.
It's 41.
Wow.
I know exactly how much a stamp costs in Varisia.
Oh,
The amount of
Okay.
mail fraud that I've committed is ridiculous.
You remember
it's so
while you
much
guys were in Roderick's Cove that you snuck a look at the mail prices while you were in the town square, and you're pretty sure that it's only like 3 copper to get a posted letter to Magnamar.
Which is great. I guess the concern I have is I want to send like a couple of gold in with the letter. I don't know if that'll weigh it down too much.
No, like you think that
Would
should
like
be
2 gold coins.
Yeah, that should be it.
All right.
Just fine.
So then I'll go ahead and prepare. We'll write a letter to her and ask her to, we're sorry we haven't paid you in a couple of weeks. Here's some more money. Please keep an eye on the place.
Okay. Do you have an envelope, or I guess you have some herbal stuff you can
I
make
have
a
some writing.
glue?
I mean,
Close
there's
the
grass
letter.
around here, and I can scavenge some stuff, I'm sure.
Give me a crafting check.
What I do have this old copy of the Manual of City Building that I could tear apart to make things.
Can make a magic
47.
staff, but
47. Yeah, you're able
trouble
to,
with,
with some torn pages
envelope.
from that book and with some of your medicinals from your medical kit, you're able to kind of stitch together a loose container for this letter that's sturdy enough to hold the gold and still is visible enough on the outside for you to like scribble out the address and info for delivery that they would need.
Just tearing up this holy book of Abadar. It's no big deal. It's fine.
And then you have to make a
I'm sure you won't
bundle
mind too much.
with that, with the price for the letter. But yeah, you're able to do all that.
Okay. So we'll pull all that together, and so we'll have that to send out tomorrow as well. But this is going to be it. If there's any other mail to send, tell us now, because I don't think I can get creatures from the mountains down there again. It'll be personal delivery after that.
All right. Well, unless there's anything else, you guys head to sleep, and that will push us over.
We should do watches, I think. It seems calm enough, but
Yeah. What's the watch order?
can Phelan do a watch on his own, or is it?
Yes, Phelan and Rock can,
Should he share?
both do watches.
Okay. Well, Greshy will start, and then Phelan will start, and then Greshy, I guess, or vice versa, whichever.
Okay. We'll do Phelan, then Greshy. Who's next?
Go next.
Yeah, beginning of that cutoff, but I assume that was Asher volunteering.
Ah, yeah.
That was Asher. Then Gunn, then Rock, I suppose.
Okay. So Rock will be the wake up call for everyone. Okay. Yeah, let's see.
Mhm. Somehow appropriate.
Let me roll the good old encounter dice.
Get 12
Alright.
dice out there. How many ogres do we find?
How many of you are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll do a 6. Sure. Okay. So Phelan's watch goes okay. Greshy's fine. Asher. It's already quite late. It's definitely past midnight at this point, when you're just kind of chilling just outside the tent, and you hear the sound of large, heavy wings flapping. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. 35.
35. I should have looked at their stat block. Yeah, you can hear them. There's 6 of them, 6 winged creatures, flying overhead. And you look up and you spot them. It's a group of, at this distance, it looks like maybe small dragons.
Ah.
They're flying from the south to the northwest, overhead. They don't drop down or pass by, or they're basically just they're flying a good maybe 300 feet above you, and in kind of like a V formation. They just seem to be kind of gliding, then flapping their wings a bit and gliding. But they're just coasting overhead in the night sky. You only notice them through you can only see them through the glint of the moon.
And they're not doing anything, they're just passing on.
Yep,
in the sky.
they seem to just be passing overhead.
Okay.
They don't seem to notice you or the camp. You don't have any fire or any light out currently. The campfire's on the inside of the tent and isn't visible to the outside thanks to the explorer's yurt.
Alright, well, as long as they don't come down here, I won't be going up there. I'll just
Okay.
sit and watch them.
So you just adjust your cloak a bit, bundle yourself up a little bit tighter since it is still quite cold out, and just watch as they pass overhead.
That's right. Don't
As they
make me
continue to
jump
pass, you can see
up
that
there.
they're definitely dragon-like, but they're not quite dragons. They seem to have like like an ankylosaurus type tail. Ankylosaurus? Ankylosaurus is probably the correct way to say that. Like a big kind of club or like stinger or something at the back, which isn't really standard for dragons.
Can I consider what these might be?
Sure, that'd be an Arcana check. Or nature at an increased difficulty.
Go with Arcana. 26.
26? Yes, that is a success. They're likely some kind of wyvern. Or wyvern. It's wyvern. But yeah,
Wyvern.
they seem
I
to just
think to myself.
They seem to be a
Wyvern,
squad of
no.
night hunting wyverns.
Good luck to them. Good luck to me.
Okay. You keep to yourself, and otherwise the time passes. Gunn takes the next watch, then Rock, and you are awake on Sunday, Abadius the 20th. You all
right.
clean up the camp, do your spell prep for the day. It sounds like some spells are getting cast.
An hour to get everything ready, and then we'll start with I guess animal messenger to Riddleport to send off the letter that Gunn had written out.
Okay.
So hopefully we get some sort of critter that will fly that far. Or
yeah, actually
run
one
that
of
fast.
one of the birds that Asher was spotted yesterday flits on over and accepts the little morsel of food that you generated in your hand, and then pecks at the letter and grasps at it with his little feet, picks it up and flies off.
Well, hopefully that gets there just fine. We'll go ahead and send for another animal messenger for Roderick's Cove. And
Okay.
I guess after that, we'll send a message to Fen.
All right. So, yep, 2 more of these birds come flitting over to you, and after they eat the little seed, each one glows briefly, empowered by the extra magical juice that you've put into the spell, and they take off with their individual letters for their destinations.
Well, hopefully that all works out and they don't question why a bird is delivering a letter to town in Roderick's Cove, but I guess we'll send a message to Fen then. Hi, it's me. We're sending you a letter to send to Mother Tickets. I don't know where she is. Hopefully Gunn wrote it in the letter. Be safe.
Great.
Yes, Gunn wrote the address on the outside.
Of the letter?
Like,
Okay.
the name of the monastery.
And where it's at, hopefully.
And, yeah.
Aye.
All right. So yeah, you send that message using the power of the Black Pearl Eon Stone that's floating around your head, and you get a pretty short, simple reply. Thank you. I guess I'll just wait here. And that's the end of the response.
We weren't talkers much.
And I'll use my sending as well to contact Mother Cats to give her a similar message, like so that she knows that this is coming.
Slightly more articulate.
So that message would be, "Hello, Mother. Your disciple traveling far northeast. Much has happened. I'll send a long letter soon via a friend. Please pray for our success."
Okay. A few moments pass and... Oh, Gunn! It's so good to hear from you. I'm glad that you and your friends are doing well. May you do good work, and may the horns watch over you. Yeah, pretty simple and straightforward response.
Yeah. Blessed be.
Blessed be. You can feel her throwing the horns and wherever she is right this moment.
Okay, I'm ready to travel another day.
Okay, you've got a big, wide open plain to travel over, or plateau rather. It's quite chilly again today. That's just how
it's a bit chilly right now. Weird how that works. All right. Everybody all set? Did you need to do anything?
Nope.
Well, let's get all together, and Greshy will start the ritual of whipping up the wind around them as he starts casting Windwalk.
So I have a question, flavor-wise, maybe not the word to use. For 8 hours, what happens if someone has to use the bathroom in Windwalk? Do you just not go? Do you not have to go? And then when it's done, you're like, ooh, what happens with that?
I believe you turn into a sort of wind, which would make
rain?
I was gonna say, you know how it's like raining is when God's got to use the restroom. Well, it turns out in this case it's just Asher.
Oh no.
I think you probably just have to hold it in. You can't really do much other than talk and look at stuff. So yeah, I imagine you are forced to hold it in, and if you can't hold it in longer than that, then
the spell ends.
Things happen when you reform. we'll put it that way.
Oh dear.
That's a much less kind thought there, but
Yeah,
are we going to try not to... I thought we were going around the mountains, but are we going to go through them?
Greshy's path is better because mine apparently is...
Infinity
miles?
miles?
I don't know if we can fly that far, Gunn, but we can try. But I was just going to suggest
either way is fine. Either... I was thinking up to here, to the Stellac River.
Oh, but I thought I guess we could just go through the mountain range up there, I suppose. But I thought the maps that they'd written out were coming up the Carazon.
Well, they
were up in here or something.
The map shows both pretty clearly.
Right, and it suggests the camp is somewhere around this area, so...
Yeah, it looks like you go...
We could try and just fly over.
That's what I was thinking would be to fly over the last distance,
the camp is at one of the 3 branches of the Cazaron River, sorry. Which is that easternmost
more center one
that goes through. It's the center of the 3 branches, and it's the easternmost river. That is the river comes from the mountain, so all that water is traveling south. But yeah.
Not been to Guildspur. Is there anything of interest there?
That's a good question, and maybe one I should have looked up before this, because I didn't notice it was there. What does Pathfinder Wiki have to say about Guildspur? It is a ruin.
Oh, well then never mind. We're not gonna... I mean, I suppose we could camp there or something, but
yeah, that
I think
is
that's
not a town.
Not exactly...
Yeah, your map would list it as like the ruins of Guildspur. If you wanted to know about it, probably a society check.
Sure, I'll see if I recall anything about Guildspur.
Same.
Out of curiosity, would Thessalonian lore.
Yeah, you could do
Be
Thessalonian
appropriate for
lore
this room.
instead. Yeah, that would be a different angle to think about it. It would
Give
give
it a
you a
shot.
different answer, probably.
That is at 30 total.
I'll use society and then come up with a
A 30 total.
30 as well.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah.
don't you have an extra 3 to any knowledge?
Oh,
checking?
that should be on, I think. I think that includes the extra 3.
Okay.
Okay, so Greshy
maybe
got
not,
30,
but that's fine.
and Gunn also
I actually
got
think
30.
it would be a 33 with the robe. It's not applying correctly.
Okay, 33 then. Okay, 33 with Thassalon lore on Guilt Spur. You would... So your Thessalonian lore comes from the rune that's emblazoned on your forehead. This knowledge that from a past time. You look at the map and are kind of like thinking on this location, this name. You don't know what the real name is, but your mind flashes images of giants and ogres in chains working like maybe like a chain gang of some kind. They're all kind of chained together. They've got hammers and chisels, and they're clearly deep underground, carving into some stone, making stonework tunnels maybe. And you see your vision is somebody like strolling through, their hands behind their back, inspecting the work that these giants are doing. And you turn and call for a sarcophagus to be brought in. And that's where your vision kind of fades. So that's the knowledge that you recall, is that it's
Interesting.
some kind of catacombs, perhaps.
Comb, tomb, something like that.
Gunn with a 30. You recall that at some point, you used to work for a mercenary group. Your mercenary group was actually, not you specifically, but you know that they had been contracted to go out into the Storval Plains to guard an archaeology team that was doing some excavation. And you remember them having trouble for some reason, but you don't recall why. It was one of those things that the older guard talked about, but kind of in hushed voices. It was a thing that they didn't really want to think about anymore. So something bad happened there while they were protecting some people who were doing some excavation. So it sounds like it's maybe an underground ruin, or mostly underground ruin, to your recollection. And that
Even still, passing near there could be hazardous, like camping.
Yes,
in
you have
the
some
area.
kind of danger associated with it.
Yeah, perhaps we should go around the south instead.
That's fair. I mean, as long as we don't camp near there, we're not going straight there. Because we can only go 160-ish, so we'd still be a bit ways, good 20, 25 miles out.
Yeah, so if I were navigating today, I would find this kind of route.
That far south?
Just stay near the river for camping purposes,
All right.
as opposed to ending up in the middle of the plains again.
Any thoughts about that, Asher? Because I think Gunn's right, but...
My question, I guess, to Jason would be, if you follow the river, like if you were to go wee like this, Would that be considered greater difficult terrain?
Oh, sorry, I
Or
think
is
I
it
missed
just-
your... Oh, I see.
Oh, sorry.
If we
Is
were
it
wind
just
walking
over
up the
mountains?
river,
If you were going along the river, it would not be greater difficult terrain or difficult terrain. No, I think it would be just
Okay.
normal terrain. It's the
It'd just be
act of
longer.
going, like trying to weave up and over mountains where it's extra windy that would be a problem. But going through the valley is fine.
Yeah, it is a longer route. Of course, I have no recall knowledge about anything.
I mean, you have the map.
that'd be
Oh no, I know. I'm just saying, like,
little
about
more
the
than 2
fears of
days.
guilt spur.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh, I see.
about 2.5
Unless we-
more days of travel to go
unless
along the
we
river.
cut over past Guilt Spur, which might save us, might get us there at the end of the second day. But
I mean, whatever dangers are at
Doesn't
Giltspur, you imagine that they're pretty localized to like a couple mile radius of it. Not, it's probably not. You're probably
Right.
fine hundreds of miles away. Or
As long as we don't go into the catacombs themselves, for that matter, we'll probably be all right.
fair.
We're not going treasure hunting, so
Well, if you find camping out in the plateau again, then we could simply do
Asher's got the right idea because there's the Storval River going that direction.
this.
It's not as far as we could get, but we could plop there.
But that would be
too.
about 2 days of travel to get
Yes, that's what I was.
Yeah,
about what you
sure.
were thinking as well.
thinking
Asher runs his
initially.
finger along the map, going up the Storval River to where it reaches the entrance of the Kodar Mountains, and then cutting across to the Stalak River. And then following that, and then cutting through the mountains that way.
Not opposed to any route, but I think this is a very direct. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know in which area it super is.
Yeah, it's right about there. This would work for me as a second day of travel.
Okay,
Okay.
All right.
Oh. we're going northeast again.
Okay.
more or less.
Someone draw and hold the line while I move the token for
Hold the
you.
line.
Okay. Yeah, and that's not even the full 160. So that's,
160,
Oh yeah, you could go.
pretty much to where the start of my line is.
Oh, right. Yep.
Oh, I see.
Right there.
Okay, sure. Yeah, in the foothills.
Not
of
quite as
Kodar
close to the river,
Mountains
but
is
that's
where you're
fine.
Targeting. All right. So you guys, so Greshy, after you guys have everything packed up and put away, you mount up or set up and start casting Windwalk again. You all lift up off of the clay dirt and start drifting off to the northeast. Go ahead and give me whoever's navigating, give me a survival check, and the other can assist.
Who wants to navigate or assist?
I'm busy.
You have opinions, Gunn?
You're muted, or we can't.
I'm assuming
hear
that was
you,
an
God,
assist.
if you're talking.
What?
Now, well, I heard the what, but that's all
Really?
I heard.
Oh,
I saw your mouth moving.
If you were talking, we
no,
weren't hearing
that
it.
was not an assist. I said I'll continue navigating if it's all the same to you.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, so Gunn got a 28. Asher, you can still roll the assist on that.
Let me assist with my awesome.
I should say aid. Aid is the action.
that's correct.
For a 31
31.
aid.
That is a natural success on the aid, so that's a +2. That turns Gunn's check into a 30. Which, again, across an open plain, which is what you guys just did, is fairly straightforward. There's not much in confusing terrain. Yeah, I would call that a pretty just standard success. Just look at my DC by level chart. I could probably announce the DC beforehand, but maybe I'll do it on the next check. Okay, so yeah, you guys drift through the sky, unaccosted by anything as you travel. You stay relatively high up and can still see pretty far out. But as you reach towards the end of your day of travel, you reach a part of the plateau that is actually it is much cloudier. So you do end up drifting a bit lower to the ground. At one point during the day, you do spot down below a group of aurochs. It's a very large group, maybe like 4 dozen of them, just all standing about, grazing. They must have found some spot of grass, but you can sort of, well, since you're lower now, you can make them out more clearly. It clearly just heads down and chewing at small vegetation. You pass by the Storval River. This is obviously the northern half of it. I guess you're very familiar with the Skull River side of it, but it's one of the many rivers that lead into the Storval Deep. And yeah, you continue on, passing out of the sort of more grassy valley around the river, and up along the foothills of the Kodar Mountains, where it is a lot rockier, but in turn, you are actually reaching an area that actually has had a bit of snow. And the snow is stuck to the ground, but it's only, it's not even an inch of snow, it's just like a light dusting. So when you land, this time you're able to land in a kind of a rough rock formation, or like a small open area amidst a rock formation that's a lot more enclosed, and you're able to just kind of land in the soft snow. It kind of kicks up a bit of snow and dust as you land, but yeah, you find a much safer looking spot than where you were last night.
That was part of the reason we went towards the mountains instead of into the plains.
That's fair. Either way works for me. I'll start getting things set up, make food, and get the yurt going.
Okay. So while you're making food, that you feel another of these rumbles in the ground. This one's a bit longer, more sustained. It lasts for about 5 seconds. You all feel it. It's just like the ground is just shaking violently underneath you. It passes, and then there's another green flash in the sky. You can see it this time through the clouds that have gathered up above. The clouds themselves flash green. But the flash is only there for a half a second, no more, before things go back to normal. Something sinister is at work.
From somewhere in particular?
No, it's just kind of omnipresent, all above.
Okay.
It's like when a lightning flash happens.
That's not great.
It'd be hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like how long it's lasted now. Well, maybe we're in more of a hurry than we thought.
We're
Almost
definitely in a bit of a rush.
Yeah, we're going. So we'll hopefully get there tomorrow, I think, if we're scouted it out right.
All right. Anybody doing anything tonight then?
Reading.
With your 4 hours of...
read.
Okay, some more reading. More reading for both of you. Gunn?
I think I will actually start attempting to retrain back into devoted focus. So a class feat. I think it's 10th level 1.
Okay. What feat are you training out of?
Divine Wall.
Ah, okay. So from Divine Wall to Devoted Focus again. All right. So you all have another night here. I'm going to assume the same watch order.
Sounds reasonable.
Let's do another one of these. And 6. No, and 20. Okay. You have what is an uneventful night. You all get a nice, calm rest. The wind is howling most of the night. The tent flap trembles, shudders. It's constantly making noise. I mean, the whole tent is making noise. The fabric is blowing strongly, but it stays up. But otherwise, no creatures spotted, no incursions upon you. Just a night out in the wild again. You awaken, and it is Moon Day Abadius the 21st. 4708 AR.
Anything special this morning? I don't think I've got anything myself.
Who else would be good for us to contact? Like, so you sent a letter to Aurelia?
It's a letter just straight up asking, sorry we hadn't paid you. Here's some more money. Please keep an eye on the place for a little while longer.
We have, let's see, we have folks all over that we actually could provide updates to, if it would be helpful.
In 25 words or less.
Sandpoint folk, the sheriff there, the Father Xantus, the mayor, or Jakardros and the Black Arrows. We could tell them that we disrupted the. Have they heard that we disrupted the Stone Giant army?
I thought we mentioned that when we came back. Because we came back to Sandpoint.
We didn't go back to Turtleback Ferry, though.
No, we didn't. That's true.
We've just passed over the lands of the Shawanti again. We might.
You would know that there's lots of different Shawanti tribes all over the area.
We might have been able to, back when we were in that area, we might have been able to meet up with them or something if we had wanted to, but. Who else? I mean, if there's anyone else that would be worth reaching out to before we.
I mean, we can do it later once we land, I suppose. If we think of anything along the way.
Okay.
It's not like it's going anywhere. For that matter, Asher, did you have anything you wanted to send to Jakardros or say to him?
I guess you would have to say it, but we only have.
You can attune to
25
this
notes.
technically, and I'll just take it back when you're done. I can't use it.
Attunement?
You can attune to up to 10 items, but this can't be tuned more than once a day. So you'll use it today, and then I'll just take it back for tomorrow.
Okay, so it's not like an investment thing where you.
It is invested, but so it does cost 1 investment slot for the day.
But you don't need like a week to invest.
Nope.
In that? Oh.
You can invest immediately. You can only invest in up to 10 items per day. So if I invest in this item and then I try to invest in another item, they both count even if I uninvest in it.
Okay.
So you're welcome to it, and then I'll take it back.
Items.
That's reminded me.
I think I have 2.
This morning before we take off, Greshy, could I see that headband again?
Oh, sure. And I'll lend Gunn the headband to look at real quick.
I wanted to check how it's doing at chart. So we needed more data points, basically, to know how much time might still be needed.
So I think it's been 3 or 4 days since we checked last. 5.
5, or I would say 5.
5 sounds right. We were
checked,
in the.
We checked before we left the. Yeah, and we traveled to Riddleport for 2 or 3 days. Stayed 1 day there, and then 2 days.
So 5 or 6 days then, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, so you're checking the magical headband that you picked up off of, what's his name? Brexaris.
Yes,
to
correct.
see how it's recharging. Yeah, go ahead and give me one of the spell casting things.
Can I assist him or
I'll do
or aid?
illusion. I've been doing illusion,
Sure.
and I'll put my.
I will
I'll put points into it.
attempt to assist or aid with Arcana. Is this a recall knowledge check?
I mean, it's an identify. The
Identify recall knowledge. Might not be. If not, it's a
identify
35.
is the
If
name
it is,
of
it's
the
38.
action, I think. I don't believe
think
that's
you're
recalling
correct.
knowledge.
So 35 then to assist.
I'm still not seeing a plus item. Oh, there it is. 3+ item.
Okay, so sorry. Yes, that is, and you're an expert, so that is a +2, so that is a total of 30 on the check. For this item, I don't think that's enough. You can definitely tell that the item is recharging, like there's more magical energy being infused in it as he's invested into it each day, but I mean, it definitely needs more. It
Sure.
feels like it's maybe more than halfway
It's
done,
working, but
you it's hard to, yeah, it's hard to know exactly when it'll be
it's
done.
working. But I don't know how long it's going to take.
That's fair. Well, I'll put it back on and invest it, I suppose. It'll work one of these days. Asher, did you want to send a message to Carlos?
What did we want him to do anything?
No.
Let him know we dealt with the giants and ogres.
Update people.
Just update. Okay, I was just making sure I didn't have to add anything
No,
specific.
you can just say hi.
Okay, I'll need a minute. Oh, while we float along, I'll think of something to say.
Okay. So Asher is plotting out his careful word choice for the limited word space of sending. And assuming that's all of your prep going into the travel, you take off. What's your route? Just up into the
Following the
river here?
south of the mountains until it reaches the river, and then following the river.
Okay.
So something like that, and then further in, and then kind of hop in mountains is our plan.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's about 95 to get up to the... Is it called the mouth of the river, where a river starts?
The head.
Head of the river? Head of the river. Oh, right, the
Yeah.
mouth
Or
is
head,
the...
yeah, either one.
Like the river delta.
When it
Okay.
goes
Where it
black.
sits out.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
The head
Alright, so you're
spring.
trying to reach the head of the Stillac River. Okay, go ahead and give me whoever's survival check to search, or not search, to lead the way. Going up through the mountains, this should be
Well, been doing all right
fairly
so far,
easy.
so I'll
We'll call
continue.
this a level 10 task of 27 DC. And a 31 is a success. So you're able to fly up along the southern edge of the mountains, over the... You can see the Stillac River in the distance, and make your way into the mountain range, following the going along the river valley. So you're actually kind of having to fly pretty low. As you get into the mountains, it is actively snowing there. So as you increase in elevation, there's more and more snow, and it is reducing visibility, but and increasing in wind chill. You guys are all wearing cold weather gear, correct?
Correct. I don't think the critters are at the moment.
But they both have cold resist runes, I think.
That is true.
Okay. And cold weather clothing, or winter clothing is what's called, winter clothing.
Aye. Winter clothes.
Winter clothes. Or is it clothing winter? One of the two. It's clothing winter. This just allows you to negate damage from severe elemental cold and reduce damage from extreme to that of severe. Okay, so yes, it is extremely cold, so it would get lowered to severe level damage. Okay. So yeah, as you guys are traveling out here in the cold, especially with all the extra wind chill added, let's see. We will call that 11, 12. That is 12 points of... So just for this stretch here, once you get into the mountainous area, that's where it starts to get really cold. That is going to be 12 points of damage to each of you. If you're not cold weather. Or sorry, those who have the cold weather gear, it's 12 damage. And then for the rest, we add only another 5 to that, so 17 points of cold damage.
Alright, so everybody takes 17 points of cold damage without regard to the resistance at all?
Sorry, the ones of you who are not wearing cold resistant armor take 17. Or sorry, who don't have winter clothing. That's what I meant. If they're not
okay,
wearing
that's
winter
what I was
clothing,
checking. So those
17.
with winter clothing...
With winter
Okay.
clothing, it's only
So-
12. And then you can reduce it further.
Okay,
if
that
you've
was the
got-
trick.
yes,
Okay.
you can reduce it further if you've got...
And Phelan
of cold
takes
resist.
12 because he's got the rune.
Sorry, that could have been explained a lot better.
And Rock will take 7 for the same reason.
Alright, well, I was thinking about prepping Endure elements before we set off, but I didn't, so that's on me.
It's alright, we have healings.
I am less concerned about just getting frostbite immediately and more about overnight, but we'll see what we do.
Okay, so that was 95
We do have the
miles
Earth
of
after all.
travel.
Mhm.
So you have about 65 miles
Sweet.
left.
And we're only looking to go about an extra 20 across. 15 to 20.
We need to get to the other river, so that'll be whatever it is to get there. If, greater difficult terrain is
Yes.
Like 45, I think, out of the 65, but then we still need to find where this camp is at and or find a place to make camp ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, so we'd call that the 40 45 to get in the vicinity. So that would leave you with...
Which leaves us with 20.
Yeah, that would leave you with 20. Sorry.
neglecting one of my clicks here, so there we go.
And that would be...
Something
you're
like
still
this.
traveling in the cold. So for that stretch... Oop. It has gotten a lot chillier. Sorry, that's...
Is there more than extreme?
No,
No,
but it
it's just
still can be
the
cold.
damage roll was more.
I see.
So those of you
I see.
with cold with winter clothing, you take 16 points of cold damage, and without winter clothing, that's 26 points of cold damage. So I think it's 26 to the pets, and then only
Starting to
16
hurt
the
Phelan a
rest.
bit.
But you're able to end up just kind of flying around, weaving around the mountains. You're looking out for any signs of a giant mega mountain, taller than all the rest, and Everest amongst the peaks, but there doesn't seem to be anything like that. All the clouds, well, I mean, the clouds have reduced visibility considerably. The snow has been picking up. It's getting more and more snowy the further and further you get up in elevation. But you do eventually reach the river that you're looking for. Or you certainly hope so. You find a river. And it's a little ways down into the valley where the river is, but you fly down towards it. Now it is a matter of locating this camp. How do you guys want to do that? So you've got like 20 miles.
That's going to be up to you two with this sharp eagle eyes.
I think that's so the way I've aimed us, it should be to the north along the river. I've intentionally brought us down a little bit further south than we think the campsite will be. So it should be a little bit north, as long as we travel northeast along the river and watch out for the campsite. We should be able to locate it.
If they've been deceased for a year, I don't think they'd be magically protected or anything, so...
That's fair.
The other side, though, being if it's all stormy and such, I'm not sure how much is going to survive from being underneath the snow.
Yeah, you can see certainly in this part
on.
in this part of the mountains where the snow is still, I mean, the snow is coming down quite heavily around you. It's just a constant stream of snow. It feels very eerily silent as the sound is just muffled. The sound is all just being muffled by the snow.
River's still flowing, or is it frozen up?
The surface of the river seems to be very like frosted in parts. Actually, yeah, this far north. Yeah, the surface looks pretty frozen, but it looks like it's like flowing just underneath. So it isn't totally frozen over. But it does look very cold. And yeah, you can if you fly down closer to the river itself, you can definitely hear it rushing. But yeah, if you like to just travel north up the river, you can. To actively search, that would be more deliberate. It could be buried under snow. It might not be directly against the river. You don't really know. Mm-hmm. The only indication on the map is just near the river. So yeah, someone will need to lead with a perception check.
I think that's what we'll need to do. Asher, did you want to take over?
Sure. We'll see. Well, here comes my one. Let's do it.
Oh, sorry. When I said lead, multiple people can do the perception check, except Greshy.
Sure.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, it's two
I think
ones for an 11 and a 38.
Roughly as close as we're going to get. So I'll perceive as well, I suppose. And I have a nat 20 for 42.
All right, a natural 20 for 42.
Nice.
And this is a difficult task, so... okay, so you guys are flying near the river, trying to stay high up enough that you can see both in the valley, like close to the river, and the surrounding area as you're like looking for any signs of anything really. There's just a lot of trees. This part of the well, there's a lot of scattered like little bits of forest, like some clumps of trees here and there. You spot the occasional hooved animal, like goats, herds of goats. Not herds, but I guess there are still. I suppose there's still a herd if they're not. Sorry, semantics. They're not being farmed by anyone. It's just a group of goats standing as they do on a cliffside, precariously, chewing at little vegetation in the mountainside. You drift around searching, for any possible sign. It's starting to get darker as the sun is setting. You're rapidly losing daylight hours as the snowstorm begins to kind of pick up more and more. Visibility gets more and more reduced as you're just kind of surrounded in a flurry of snow. Even Asher, with your eagle eyes, you can't seem to spot anything that looks like it was man-made. But Gunn, you do, with that natural 20 and a 42, you do manage to spot as the sun is setting, the glint of something shiny reflecting the sun. First you think like maybe something metallic, but no, it's a window. You spot just a few maybe 30-40 feet from the edge of the river, built up against a stone or against a sheer cliffside, is some kind of hut, some kind of like log cabin, basically, built up against the side of the cliff. The cliff itself is maybe about 40 feet tall, and the house or cabin is kind of built on both parts. It's built, there's like half of it is at ground level, and then there's the center of the cabin has like kind of a towery section that leads up to the a second part of the cabin that's like overhanging the cliff at the top. So there's kind of like a top half of the cabin up above and a bottom half of the cabin below, with like a kind of a wooden tower connecting the two pieces. It is completely covered in snow, and there's seemingly no paths or anything leading to it. It is just, there's a good like 3 feet of snow covering up the entry to all the doors, but you do spot it there. You tell the others to look, and you all turn and see it. You can just barely make it out in the flurry of the blizzard.
Let's fly directly down there.
All right. You point us in the direction we'll go.
Yep. I mean, is there any other kind of structures around? Maybe like tie-ups for horses or a dock, anything like that nearby?
Sure, let's see. So yeah, looking around, you do spot what looks like maybe on the lower level section, maybe a couple hundred feet to the west, is what looks like maybe a cavern entrance. Possibly a mine. It looks like there's maybe a couple of wood beams holding up the entrance to this cavern. But that too is just fully covered in snow. there doesn't seem to be any kind of dock or anything connected to the river. And there don't appear to be any fresh tracks or anything in the snow, as far as you can tell. It's all... The snow is very deep and very fresh, and it looks untouched. Which direction do you lead the group, Greshy? There's kind of two... There's the part of the cabin that's at the base of the cliff, and there's the part of the cabin that's on the top of the cliff. The one that's on the top of the cliff is kind of overlooking the river and the valley.
I think I'd go up to the upper one. I'm a little concerned about being at the bottom of a cliff in these mountains, but who knows? Just concerned about possible avalanches. So we'll go to the upper one.
Okay. You glide the group down through the snow towards the top half of this actually kind of impressive wooden structure. This building looks like it's in disrepair. You can see where parts of the roof have caved in a bit from just being out here and weathering the elements, and under the weight of that much snow, possibly multiple times. It's the wood is definitely cracked in some spots and caved in. There's a clear kind of porch section that is covered. It's a large, wide porch. There's a 2 wooden rocking chairs, clearly visible under the covered porch. There's like a short wooden staircase that leads up to it. This floor is maybe... It seems like it's maybe a couple of feet elevated off of the actual ground of the cliff side. Or sorry, it's a couple of feet off of the ground. It's on like stilts, sort of. And the little staircase leads up to that. And then there's a visible door that leads into the house. But it is closed.
Well, we will aim for the door and see if anybody's home. I kind of hope not. I'm pretty sure nobody should be here anymore. They'd all be dead, probably.
Well, so do you actually
We'll
land the group in the spell, though? Because right now you guys are just kind of flying outside.
Sure. Do we see anything of note? Any dangers? Any obvious creatures about? I mean, I'm kind of concentrating on the spell. I can only do so much, but...
I guess perception checks if people want to look around. Any further than that?
Yeah, just want to make sure I'm not landing us in the middle of, like, a bunch of things that are about to kill us.
29.
31, but again, I'm distracted, so I don't know how well it does.
And has a
Gunn's eyes work
19
really
for 41.
well.
41? Okay.
Got contacts.
So you're all kind of being buffeted with snow, and it's hard to see much of anything other than just that bit of section under the porch. Gunn, you notice that there is just beside the stairway entry into the building is a singular, like, thick tree. Like a really thick-based tree. Looks rather ancient. There's no leaves to speak of, and it looks kind of gnarled and weathered. Looks like it's maybe been dead a long time. But there's something odd about it. You notice that as you guys are kind of floating there, you could swear that some of the branches have moved, and not because of the wind, but they've moved to, like, reveal something. an eye, maybe? You're not sure. The wind, the snow is just blasting over, but you swear that the tree is just looked at you.
Whoa. Alright. Look out, we may have trouble incoming. Don't look, but that tree is probably about to come get us.
Okay.
Trees often attack people.
I was going to say, is this a regular thing for you that trees attack people, or is there something particular you're concerned about?
I think this one is something in disguise.
Okay.
We should land and prepare before we see what it might be.
Maybe leave it alone. Perhaps it's defensive.
Fair enough. We could go in the house if you...
Well,
Knock
at the
on the
very
door.
least, let's get out to the elements. It's very, very cold.
So the tree
So-
itself is like maybe 10 feet away from the staircase that leads up into the porch.
Okay, so it's right there. It's not.
If we-
It's not
if we
distant
land
at all.
It's
on the
there.
porch, how far...
I mean,
you can't land on the porch because it's covered. I mean, you could land on top of the covering of the porch if you wanted.
Oh, I see. I figured it was covered but open on some of the
Oh,
sides,
sure. Yeah, you could try to fly into it. Yeah. That
like
is
from one
that is
side.
doable.
From
It's roughly doable. There is like a small railing.
Skipping
You have to
the
be careful.
staircase and just
We are made of clouds, though.
scooting in over the railing.
I mean, if we can try and dodge the tree, but my concern is if it's only 10 feet away from the stairs, I don't know what kind of reach those things have, but I don't know if we're going to be particularly safe on the porch.
We
Can I
land on
like consider if I know about trees that look at people?
Sure. Give
Do you know about
me-
lumber?
Yeah, that's true. give me a nature check.
Nature. Should I use points on this?
I mean, we've got plenty, but
Yeah. I
There.
want to use
up to you.
points on this.
You want
I
to know
wanna
what it is.
I want to know what this tree is.
I want to know what the tree is.
I want to do really well. A 33 plus 9, I suppose.
Plus 9,
or
mhm.
Yep.
So 42.
44. 42, sorry. I don't 44 for an 11. 42.
You do that and then add your point back. There we go. Sorry, so 42. Okay.
Look straight at
A massive
it off.
tree like this, you've not heard of, well, if
Dubious knowledge.
if there were dead people here, it's possible that their bodies could have attracted something like you've seen or you've heard stories of what they call horror trees that consume the flesh of the recently deceased and then use that flesh to sprout and grow bigger and stronger, and they just kind of wander in search of dead, like corpses, basically. They're corpse trees is another word for them, but they eat bodies whole and digest them inside and store the if you were to open one up, you'd find all of the bones of its victims inside.
Are they victims if they're dead? I guess it could kill them and then consume their bodies.
Yes, yeah. You've heard stories of them attacking people, but they tend to go. They tend to seek out the like injured or recently dead. That's in terms of them hunting things. You've heard stories of this kind of tree-like creature, but it's not really a tree. It's more of like an undead abomination.
We land on the porch as far as possible from the tree. Do I think that would give us enough room to land safely?
Do you?
I mean, if I could see a battle map, I'd probably know the answer right away, but like, is it like 30
Giant
feet?
tree.
The tree itself is like 4x4 squares.
That's a big tree.
Yeah, it's a big tree. Yeah, when I said big tree, it's a real big tree. If this were a creature and it had reach, you imagine that it could probably reach everywhere on the porch. The porch itself is only
Okay.
like 15 feet across. It's about
Can we
25
Then
feet.
let's try ending the spell first. Let's fly somewhere else, end the wind walk, and then try to come up here.
Are we actually made of air? Can you like go through a door crack?
maybe?
You're not really fully made of air. You are still a somewhat solid form. If you tried to interact with basically anything, the spell will end.
Okay.
And you fall.
We can go to the bottom of the cliff.
I was just thinking that as much as I'd rather not get buried underneath an avalanche, I'm not feeling confident about our chances with a tree without knowing what it does.
I think it's worth it to prepare first.
Seems reasonable to me. Well, let's check out the bottom then. We can always come back and deal with this tree
There's like
here.
2 trees down bottom. It's like, shit.
Okay, you fly down to the base, the lower level of the cabin, and it is yet leaned up right against the or possibly built into the side of the sheer stone cliff. There are 2 entrances that are visible from the northern side. One seems to be a double wide door. The other is that's the northernmost entrance. There's that part has like a bit of a covering in front of it, I guess. Maybe like a 5-foot overhang over the door. It looks like maybe possibly a shipping receiving kind of room, or like a entrance to a building. It's got that style of large kind of barn doors almost. The other door is a bit more like normal sized, and that one's just a little bit further to the south. But they're both north facing doors. No dangerous looking trees down here, just the building.
Just the other danger that we can't see.
Well, perhaps if we land down below, right by the door, we can knock, let ourselves in, and then prepare, get warmed up and prepare.
Sure, let's do that. And then we'll head down towards the which entrance did we want to go to? The larger one or the smaller one?
Take your pick, I suppose.
Let's do the smaller one rather than the larger loading doors.
Okay. Yeah, the larger ones definitely look like they're more for loading, unloading. So you decide if you're trying to knock, it's probably best to use the smaller door. So you bring the group down in front of the door. The wind from your spell making the log the Lincoln logs of the cabin rattle as you land, and as the wind dismisses, you can things kind of fall silent as just still snow falling all around you. The only sound really is the creaking of the wood of the building. itself, just ever so slightly. The door itself just rattles a bit in the light gust of wind that's around you, but everything's silent. There's no light inside the building as far as you can tell. Or like you don't see any light coming from under the door. There is just around the corner there was what looked like a window, is the window that Gunn saw. Is in fact the only piece of glass on the building is this one singular window. It's a large window, maybe like a 6 foot by 3 foot window. You can trudge through the snow very slowly. The snow is already like 3 feet deep. It's pretty thick. You're all freezing out here. Or you can waddle through the snow to go over towards the window, if you wish. Or you can approach the door.
Sounds good. Greshy, that pack of yours has cookware. Is that correct?
Aye, it does.
Do me a favor for old time's sake. Hand me a whisk, if you would.
I will reach into the knapsack and pull out a couple of utensils before I find the whisk. And it's a regular sized whisk, but it's rainbow colored. It's nice, and we'll pass that along.
Okay, you pass over the whisk to Gunn.
As per tradition, I'll cast a light upon it.
Okay, you cast light, and as the light courses through the whisk, each individual band is a different color of the rainbow, and each of them gives off a different color of light. So you actually end up with this kind of like bright spectrum light source.
Excellent.
And yeah, you trudge
Just
through
go
the
whisk.
snow just around the corner with the whisk, holding it up to get a better view into the cabin. The sun is setting, and it's starting to grow dark, but with the help of the light, you're able to peer inside, and you can see through the very dusty window. There's a small small room before you. It looks like it's got like a bare plank floor, and a simple like fur rug, probably hunted from local fauna. And there's a door in the back of the room that looks like it leads to a closet, and then a second door to the left of that one. And it looks like there's something etched into the door. You adjust the whisk to try and get a better view, and your eyes kind of narrow, peering into the darkness, and you can just barely make out the words "to be continued." And that is where we'll end our session for tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. Hope you're having fun, and we will begin our look into the mysterious cabin next week, right? Next week? I think that should be fun.
Next week.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
31st.
Next week, the 31st. Set your calendars. We got some fun stuff in store. What became of the dwarves that searched for the city of gold? Will anyone get the letters that they were sent this week? Will Shillelagh call
Probably
back?
at some point.
Tune in next
Will I
time.
get to send my letter?
Oh, that's true. Asher hasn't sent his letter. Make a note of that.
Why didn't you
I
send
wrote. No, I was gonna send it when we got done with our trip, and now we're in the midst of this.
Okay. Should have said something while we could have. I specifically
What?
said if we don't send stuff
Well,
now,
that's
we're not
true.
going to have a chance to.
No, I said we'll send it when we get there, and everyone's like, "Cool."
Well, we'll see.
I
Will
said I was
Asher send
gonna
his
write
letter?
it while we flow.
We'll find out next time. Third action. Yeah. Good
On the
night.
internet.
Internet, go.